everyone, my name is Raynell and today I'm going to be talking about plastic and its effects on human health and the environment. Now, I'd like to start off by saying that plastic wasn't always the bad guy. In fact, one of the driving forces behind the invention of plastic was so that people would use less ivory. They just wanted to stop killing elephants, and over the course of its existence, plastic has done a lot of good. We've significantly improved photography and film. I wouldn't be able to record this right now if it weren't for plastic. We've made great advances in medical equipment, and it's also helped us to preserve food for longer periods of time. So what I'm trying to say is, plastic used to be the superhero. But you know what they say, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And unfortunately, that is what happened with plastic. Now, plastic is malleable, it's durable, it's lightweight, it's cheap, and it's so convenient. And it makes sense as to why it is so ubiquitous. We see it in our furniture, it's in restaurants, it's come in every form of packaging imaginable. We use it once and we throw it away, which makes it so easy. And because it has snaked its way into our everyday lives, we have become dependent on it without even realizing it. I see it every single day. People don't want to do dishes, so they use plastic plates and utensils and toss it after the one meal. People also can't seem to drink without straws. They've forgotten that picking up a glass of water and putting it to your lips still makes the water go into their mouths. Now, if there's one thing I want to accomplish from this presentation, other than, of course, the extra 100 points for this class, it is this. I hope to encourage you all to make one small lifestyle change to use less plastic. Because despite all of the good things that I mentioned that were derived from plastic, times have changed. And now the negative impacts far outweigh any possible benefit we can get from using plastic.
You see, plastic was invented in 1856. It was still based on nitrocellulose, and it was extremely flammable. This actually became the very first plastic film used for photography that came out in 1889. The estimated world population at the time? Around 900 million people. Yeah, million, with an M. Plastic as we know it today didn't even exist until 1907. The estimated world population at that time was around 1,750,000,000 people, and we were just getting started with plastic. It wasn't even as prevalent then as it is now. You see, every single piece of plastic that has ever been created still exists on the planet today. Currently, with the world population at 7.5 billion people, a majority of whom use plastic, it has created a real and severe impact on the environment. Most of the plastic we dispose of daily has ended up in the world's oceans, and they've collected within something called a gyre, the largest in the world being the North Pacific Gyre. One example of an animal affected by these collections of plastic is the Laysan albatross, whose breeding grounds happen to fall smack in the middle of that gyre. Most adult albatross mistake plastic for squid, one of their favorite foods. But the really tragic thing is, studies have shown that a staggering 97% of albatross chicks that haven't even fledged yet already have plastic in their stomachs. Debris take up space in their stomachs, leaving them feeling full, but causing them to starve from a lack of actual nutrients absorbed from the plastic. And that's just one animal. Several other species suffer a loss of life as well. Whales are often tangled in fishing gear, turtles eat plastic bags mistaking them for jellies, and just a couple of days ago, an orca named Lulu from the last resident pod in the UK passed away from high levels of polychlorinated biphenyls, otherwise known as PCBs, another toxin known to be derived from plastic. It bioaccumulates and works its way up the food chain, causing susceptibility to cancer, a weakened immune system, and even infertility, which may show to be true since the orca has been found never to have had a calf despite being 20 years of age. Now, not only does plastic affect animals in the wild, it can cause an impact among humans too. Like I mentioned before, it's in almost everything we use on a daily basis. It's the lid for our coffee cups. It lines the insides of cans. We carry our groceries in it. It's in baby bottles. We even toss our garbage out in it. One of the most common forms of plastic we see, though, are plastic water bottles. And one harmful chemical found in water bottles is something called bisphenol A or BPA, which is primarily used to harden plastic and allows it to be durable. It unfortunately also causes brain and behavioral problems, heart complications, cancer, and a disruption in hormone levels. Scarily enough, over 90% of the US population already have high enough levels of BPA in their system that it can be traceable. Alarmingly, orcas are not the only mammals susceptible to bioaccumulation. People like me who enjoy seafood are also at a risk.
Now, I know this sounds like an awful lot of bad news, but I do have some good news too. Since people are the cause of the problem, that means people can also be the source of the solution. When people are encouraged to say no to plastic, I often find that I get one of two extreme sides to the spectrum when it comes to their response. They'll either say, oh no, it's impossible. And I mean, I did say so myself. Plastic is pervasive. It is difficult to find non-plastic items for daily use, but difficult doesn't mean impossible. There are so many options. Just remember the mantra we all learned in 4th grade. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. But I don't want everyone haphazardly using plastic saying, oh, I'll just recycle it. No. They said that in order of preferability. Number 1 being reduce, aka use less plastic, use more things like metal or glass. This is actually a glass straw and mug combination that comes from a company that will send you a new one if you break your glass straw. Number 2 would be to reuse, choosing something that can be reusable even if it is plastic like this straw right here, or even a reusable to-go container that we can use for takeout dinners is still a better option. And recycle would have to be the last resort. If you have no other option but to use the plastic, then go ahead and recycle that. The other end of the spectrum of responses I get is, it's useless, what's the point, the damage is done. Is me saying no to a straw at a restaurant really gonna make a difference? And the answer to that, my friend, is yes, absolutely. It all adds up. It's like saving up all your quarters. And at the very least, you can try. If you keep lighting matches and dropping them off the floor, you can't just keep going when you realize your house is on fire. Go pick up a bucket and try.